getting it, cuz. Send that thing. It's your boy, J Mitch. Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, J Mitch. I'm up here with my Team Krajave Shogun. And from an older video I made, the world's first Krajave Arrma EXB. I just kind of wanted to show you guys some differences. The chassis will be different sizes, of course, because the Mojave chassis is longer than a Kronos or Shogun chassis. But if this was a Kraton, it would be probably the same length. But okay, I just wanted to kind of give you guys general differences between Arrma and Team Krajave. Just let you guys see up close and personal some of the differences are. I really, I might talk about some of the upgrades on the EXB, but for the most part, I just want to go over the layouts and some of the things that are, generally different. But I don't really want people to think, well, these upgrades are standard. They're not standard. If this was the one-to-one Kraton, the one-to-one Kraton or Italian would be a better comparison. Actually, the Italian would be the perfect comparison, but I don't have one right now because I sold mine in hopes that the V5 would be dropping, but it didn't come out yet, so I'm waiting for that. Anyway, I'm talking too much. Let's get to the shits. First thing that we'll talk about are the wheels. I do have the Italian wheel. The Italian wheels here on the left, and the Shogun wheel is on the right. As you can see, both of the wheels are very similar. I will say that, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share my video on all your social medias. Check out my Instagram, check out my Facebook fan page. My email's in the description. Also, where I shop, link information for Adams RC discount, where you can buy these cars and parts from. Check that all out in the video. All right, let's get to it. First thing that we'll talk about are the wheels. I do have the Italian wheel. The Italian wheels here on the left, and the Shogun wheel is on the right. As you can see, both of the wheels are very similar. I will say that, they're actually both the same size. Okay. As far as the rubber, it looks like the Italian's wheel is a little bit, it's a little lower profile as compared to the Shogun. Also, I will say, if you look at the treads on the wheels, the Shogun wheel is not directional, whereas the Italian wheel can only go in one direction. When you install it in the car, there are little arrows on the wheels to let you know which direction is forward for each tire. So these are not interchangeable on both sides, whereas you could use your Shogun wheel any position. It's not a directional wheel. So we'll talk about that there. We'll talk about, let's talk about the bumpers up front. Well, I am running the EXB, so the EXB bumper is different, but I feel like on the stock Kraton, the bumper is the same as was here. Take the hoods off. Of course, we're talking about an EXB, so of course the shock tower on the EXB is going to be a lot different. But if it was the normal Kraton or your normal V5 line, it would be the black stamped aluminum, and you can see it's the same material that you would find. The Krajave is the same material that you would find on the Arrma, but it looks it's definitely a little different. When you look at the shock standoffs, these look like the older shock standoffs from like the V2s of the Arrma, whereas now the shock standoffs here They're enclosed in a little protective case and a little bit shorter on the later Arrmas after V3 and up. They both have pillow ball type front suspension, so those two parts might be interchangeable between the Krajave here on the right and the Arrma here on the left. So yeah, those might be the same. Those might be interchangeable. The arms look to be about the same length on both. And mind you, I am running EXB arms on my Arrma. And these are the stock V2 arms, and they both look very beefy. The V2 Chronos as compared to the EXB arms. But if this was the stock Arrma plastics, I don't think, you know, from the V4 and earlier, I think the Arrmas will be a little bit less thinner. But if we're talking about current generations, yes, the arms are the same thickness as compared. As far as the axles, I know for sure the front and rear axles are the same lengths on both, because I've been working, you know, I'm not gonna say I've been working, but I've been helping Adam out in the RC store, and quite a few of these Kraves have come in, and Adam can get parts, but if he doesn't have the axle, the stock axle part, he can use one off the Arrma Krato or Italian to fix these Team Krajave cars. So that's going to be the review of the front clip for now. Let's get into the shock tower. The chassis tower. So you see the chassis tower, it's a little bit more of a rigged angle, and it connects more to the top center of the shock tower on the Team Krajave. So it's a little steeper angle there, and actually if you look, there's actually two. There's one that comes from the top here down to here, and then there's another one through here, and they kind of connect there, so it may be a little bit more stable up front. So you might not see a lot of bent chassis out of these. It's supported from two places in the front of the car, and then goes down to the chassis here. Whereas on the Arrma, you get the one chassis brace, normally plastic. Again, mine's is upgraded. They're both plastic stock, but you only get that one support. But you also, in the Arrma, you get the tower-to-tower support that runs the length of the car. Whereas here, you don't have that tower-to-tower support. You just have independent front and rear chassis support. In Arrma, you get the tower-to-tower support, and you get a front and rear chassis support. Yeah, the top piece is similar. You know, you want to have that body protector. Mine's kind of chopped off for my EXB, but it looks very similar to what you would find in like an Outcast Success for an Arrma on the Team Krajave. And you also have that same kind of thing here in my EXB. But you see that center tower-to-tower brace runs right through the middle of the brace on the Arrma, whereas the Team Krajave doesn't. The motor mounts are different too. They are both slider type mounts, whereas the Arrma has two screws at the top of the mount. In the Team Krajave, it has a screw at the top and one on the side. This is very reminiscent of what I would see in the Mugen and Serpents. They kind of have this kind of motor mount, so that's pretty cool. Also, in the center diff, the center diff holder is different too. The Arrma, as you can see, is just two pieces there, and on the Krajave, it is two pieces as well. But in the Team Krajave, the front part of the brace actually goes onto the diff cup first, and then you push it down into the brace. It's a little bit different than what is in the Arrma. And also, you can see the center diff cup is metal. It's a metal center diff cup, and this is stock on your Krajave, whereas the Arrma is still plastic. Even though this is an updated EXB center diff cup, it is It is just plastic. So just to really emphasize one thing on the Team Krajave, one of the first things you will probably want to upgrade on Team Krajave and almost any RTR car are these wheel nuts. They are not serrated. So every time after you run the car, you are going to want to check your nuts. Check your nuts, guys. That's funny. So next, let's talk about servos. All right, y'all know me. When I do a car, I keep these little JX servos on deck, on hand, and you know, I really can't compare the servos. I can compare the servo layouts in both of these cars, though. All right. So if you look, let me take you to the Team Krajave. I'm sorry, I'm Arrma biased, and I shouldn't be. I should be talking more about the Chronos than I am talking about the Arrma. But the Arrma is the litmus when we're comparing that to the Team Krajave. So if you look at the Team Krajave, you can kind of see that front drive shaft. It kind of goes in on the angle there. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. It goes on more of an angle from the top of the car, whereas on the Krato, it's more of a straight shot back. You know, the center drive line is a straight shot, whereas here in the Arrma, I mean in the Chronos, in the Team Krajave, it's more of an angle. It's kind of this offset angle, and then another angle to the back. So it's not the same layout, the center drive line. So that means these center drive shafts, they might be very close in lengths for both of these platforms, but they probably won't be a direct fit. So I wouldn't expect those to work in this car. So if you're going to do something with this car, you'll probably have to do some custom things there. So again, my fault, I was talking about the servo. Also, you can see the servo is on the angle here, and it's combined with the receiver box in the Team Krajave. Very reminiscent of what you see in Shogun or some other A-scale cars. But yeah, it's kind of got that servo on the angle and the combined receiver box. Whereas here, the servo is alone in the Arrma, unless you get a limitless. So we're talking about these two Arrmas. So John, stay focused. All right, stay focused. Okay. And then the Arrma, you get the standard lipo tray in the receiver box on the one side. In the Team Krajave, you get kind of like the older setup that you see in some of the Shoguns and like the V1 Arrmas. You got the battery tray and the ESC on one side versus the battery tray and receiver box. Also, you see your motor is set by itself on the left side of the Team Krajave. Here in the Arrmas, the current generation, the motor and ESC is on the left side and the battery's on the right side. So so yeah, it's just a bit different there. So going on to the rear again, I'm looking at an EXP, so it would be like the same stamped chassis, but you can see just on the sides, it looks like the Kraton's shock tower is a bit taller than the Team Krajave. In the Team Krajave, it's definitely a wider rear stance, which may be a little bit more stable in the long run. I really can't call that at this point, but you can see clear difference in the width of the Team Krajave versus the Arrma. But the Arrma is a little higher, a little bit taller shock tower. Also, looking at the rear braces in the Team Krajave, there's two, actually there's three. If you count the center rear brace, then you have two braces coming off the shock tower. So you have the center rear brace that's going to the center, to the rear diff, and then you have these two additional shock tower braces coming off the shock tower, and they are actually thicker than the V1s. So they really upgraded their plastic. So like I said, this is new to me. I haven't really got a good bash on it yet to really see how this will hold up in the long run. But you can see it is clearly different than what we see in the Kraton. What you see in the Kraton is a single rear brace that is also connected with the tower-to-tower brace. Yeah, it's definitely a different layout in this car. So when I was saying that things aren't 100% interchangeable between both these cars, I just wanted to show you guys that they really aren't. These things are two different beasts. Also, look at that wing mount. Take a look at that wing mount in the Arrma, but when you compare it to the Team Krajave, that wing mount is a lot beefier than what we're seeing on our Arrmas. So that's a pretty nice touch there from Team Krajave. And also look at these A-arms. I'm sorry, I'm totally missing it. Look at how the A-arms, the lower A-arms, the front and the rear, they're full plastic. They're probably a little bit stronger and have probably won't break as easily as these newer A-arms. You see how there's no empty space? I'm sure these A-arms on the Team Krajave are a lot heavier than what we're seeing on the Krato. But you know, the Krato might be a little bit lighter in the A-arm area and probably still be just as durable. But look at all this plastic in here. Like, it's going to be pretty hard to snap one of these A-arms if this is good quality plastic that Team Krajave used. Also, look at those links, the suspension links, the steering links on the front and the suspension links on the back. They're like a plastic non-adjustable type, which I think is good for people who are just going to bash their cars. If you're not going to be racing, if you're not really doing some super technical things where you need to have adjustable links, this is perfect. You know, if you don't want to be fooling around with that little link wrench, you know, this is perfect. Whereas on the Arrma, you have these adjustable links, which is great if you want full tunability of your suspension. Really great. So it's pros and cons to both, and they both have sway bars. They both have sway bars from the factory. You can see them down there. Both have sway bars. And then let me flip them around for y'all. Take a look at the back. The Arrma, of course, I always like to. One of my first go-to upgrades on this car is the Outcast wheelie bar on all my Arrma Success lines. I just think it's perfect. You don't need anything else. But it's not stock. But I just kind of want to show you guys how that works. On the Team Krajave, their wheelie bar is a little bit more involved with the installation. But I don't have it on the back of mine, but I just kind of wanted to talk about what I noticed about that. Also, I didn't talk about the rear hubs either, really. This is the Team Krajave rear hubs versus the Arrma rear hubs. So yeah, I think all these parts in the suspension should be interchangeable. And then just take a look at the shocks there on the Team Krajave. Actually, really nice to look at versus the Arrma shocks. The Arrma shock kind of have that protector on the bottom, that boot on the bottom there, where the Team Krajave does not. On the Team Krajave, the chassis plate is thinner. It's not as thick as an aluminum as compared to the Arrma. It's a little thinner there. But there's also a lot more bracing in the Team Krajave, so we'll have to just watch this chassis and see if it bends. Also, if you look at the plastics on the Team Krajave, it's a lot wider. It's kind of got that flying saucer effect that you see on some of the Kyosho cars. So I'm going to say this thing probably flies nicely in the air. Also, the Arrma is a little bit thinner, but also the Arrma has the mud guards built in, and this thing does not have mud guards up front. All right, so yeah, for real, I'm gonna end it. I'm shut up. This is a long video. I'm gonna say thank y'all for watching. Shout out to my man Dave Hubbard. Shout out to Big Willie. Shout out to Ted Nathan at RC Discount. I'm gonna say thanks for watching. Y'all be good, man. Peace.